So, lads, first video on the BBALL Nightly channel. This is the channel where we're just gonna be talking about basketball. I'm gonna be rambling a lot, but we got to talk about this. We've got to shut up the damn narrative about Luka Doncic, the best player in, I was about to say in the Western Conference, he's probably not, but a top 3 player in the world. Luka Doncic is currently leading the MVP race. He shot a skyhook 3 to end 4 straight 3-pointers to win a game. The man is magic. There is very few people in the history of basketball that can do what Luka Doncic does. He's got like the magic of Larry Bird with the ability to control a game of prime James Harden. Albeit, the guy doesn't play defense. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's one of the best players of all time. Because he's not. I think with what he did in Europe, like, the man is creeping on top 100 of all time already. But still, like, Luka Doncic is by far, the best player on the Dallas Mavericks. And real hoopers don't agree. Oh, play the clip.
Is Luka the best player on his team? See, and that's the thing with real basketball people. I look at Kyrie like, shit.
There is nothing that Kyrie Irving does better than Luka Doncic. And I mean that, nothing. He just looks better when he does things. Luka Doncic is better at going to the basket. Luka Doncic, ironically enough, when he wants to be, is a better defender than Kyrie Irving. Although Kyrie Irving's not a terrible defender when he wants to be either. Luka Doncic can at least get his body in the line. Luka Doncic is a better rebounder. He's a way better passer. He somehow gets to the basket better. He's a better shooter. He hits tough shots better than Kyrie Irving. It's just when Luka Doncic takes a layup, a lot of time it's a slow 1-2, hit into somebody, put up the layup, rather than Kyrie's beautiful, like drive in, looks picture perfect, spin off the glass. 2 points is 2 points, lads. 2 points is 2 points. But I just do not get the fascination. I also want 2 things. I don't understand the fascination with Kyrie Irving and the ability, like willingness to put down Luka. Like, people are like, oh, Luka didn't even make the play-in last year. That wasn't his fault. That was Mark Cuban's fault. They were the 3rd seed when they had Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. He traded for Kyrie Irving and they could barely win a game. And it wasn't Luka's fault. The problem is that Luka Doncic has one major deficiency in his game, and it's his ability to play defense. And it's cool. You don't have to be a very good defender to be a very good basketball player. Magic Johnson's major deficiency in his game was the fact that that guy couldn't guard a parked car. Allen Iverson, not a particularly great defender, good with his hands, good at getting steals, couldn't really guard anybody. So they surrounded Allen Iverson with defenders. They surrounded him with the Aaron McKees of the world, the Eric Snows of the world, the Dikembe Mutombos of the world. That's how you have to play around a guy like a James Harden. That's what you have to do around a guy like a Luka Doncic. Like, even in Houston with James Harden, CP3 is an elite point guard defender. They surrounded James Harden with Chris Paul. I know Eric Gordon came off the bench, but they had Chris Paul, they had Trevor Ariza, they had PJ Tucker, they had Clint Capella. That is an elite defensive team. An absolutely elite defensive team around a guy whose major deficiency in his game is defense. And that's what you have to do. Because as much as I hate to say it, offense does mean more than defense. It does. Like, you can be the best defender in the world, and offensive players are still going to score on you. That's the problem with NBA basketball, is like, you can only contain somebody. You can't stop anybody. Like, there's about 10 guys in basketball that you just literally can't stop. And I'm not even talking about 10. What am I talking about? When Jordan Clarkson gets hot, you just can't stop Jordan Clarkson. But still, like, that's just the thing with basketball, is that around a Luka Doncic, you surround him with defenders. You can have a Kyrie Irving, cool, but you got to surround those guys with defenders. And they're finally starting to look okay, because they got Grant Williams, who I really like as a player. They got Derek Lively, who, my God, like, I'm pleasantly surprised. Like, I thought he was going to be good in college coming in. Like, I thought he was probably going to go around where he went, maybe a little bit higher, to be honest, in his draft at the start of college year. And then I thought the Mavs were crazy to take him. I was like, this guy's just not ready. They struggled with JaVale McGee. I thought McGee was going to be better than Lively, but no, he's there. And the crazy thing is they don't look any better with Kyrie Irving. I want to say it right now, like, Luka would know, if Luka's not there and Kyrie Irving's there, I'm telling you, these guys aren't even a play-in team. If Kyrie's not there and Luka's there, they're a playoff team. That is the gap between Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And I just don't want to hear the disrespect on one of the greatest players to ever play the game in Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving's great, don't get me wrong. Top 75, great. Ugh. And I think if the 75th anniversary was today, Luka would be in it. Dame wouldn't. I think Jokic would be in over AD, but Luka would be in it if it was today. And I think he would deserve it. The Dallas Mavericks are borderline contenders. And the reason why I'll say borderline contenders is just like in 2021 and 2022. When Luka drops 40, he can win a game by himself. And the crazy thing is that we saw it against like Phoenix. We've seen it at times. Luka can do that 4 out of 7 games. You just got to get the right guys around him. You really do. And the problem is Kyrie and Luka probably aren't good teammates for each other on the court. I think either of them suit the other's game well at all. Offensively, sure, they both have too many deficiencies on the defensive end. You can attack both, the team's going to struggle. I don't think they're the greatest combo ever, but there's no question about it. Luka's the best player on that team. And anyone who's questioning that does not know ball. And I'll say that about Kenyon Martin. I'll say that. Like, I get it. Baller. Like, number 1 overall pick. Incredible player. Made multiple NBA finals. But if you think Kyrie Irving is better than Luka Doncic, you were just good at ball. You don't know ball. And I'm not talking about street ball, pickup ball. Heck, I'm not even talking about 1990s NBA basketball, where it was a lot of isolation. I'm talking about 2023 NBA basketball, where the ability to just be able to quote-unquote hoop is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Like, we're looking at the likes of Jordan Poole and Kuzma, both quote-unquote hoopers, stinking it up for Washington. And realistically, the most valuable player on that team is probably the young Bilal Coulibaly, because he's starting to play really well, and he's obviously one of the youngest players in the league. But Deni Avdija is probably a better winning basketball player than both of them. But real hoopers will tell you, oh no, Jordan Poole's a hooper. There's a reason Golden State got rid of him. The guy's a quote-unquote hooper, would drop 100 points on my head, but he's not a winner. He's not a winning basketball player. And Luka Doncic, the craziest part is he's simultaneously a winning basketball player and a hooper. It's crazy. There aren't many of those guys in the world that can do what Luka does and win, but Luka can. Kyrie Irving as the number 1 option on his team. He was on a team that was so stacked they nearly made the NBA Finals without him, and then they got worse with him. He was on a team where they had Kevin Durant, James Harden. He looked good. But if we look at 2020 Kyrie Irving, before Kevin Durant came back from the Achilles injury, the Brooklyn Nets were better without Kyrie Irving. They were better when he wasn't there. When we look at him last year, the Mavs were better without him there. And he caused nothing but headaches for Brooklyn. There's no question about it. Luka Doncic, better than Kyrie Irving. I'm not the biggest Kyrie fan. And I probably am the biggest Luka fan. But it's not even a debate, lads.